We have a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City husband arrested for domestic violence. We're diving into why Heather Gay lied to protect Jen Shah in regards to the black eye debacle, and a little more tea from the Salt Lake City reunion. So I hope you are ready for it. Let's dive in.
Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered convos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered, and yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in.
Good morning, San Francisco. Not really San Francisco, but it is Los Angeles, and the weather does feel a little like I am in San Fran. It's cloudy, it's overcast, it's chilly. Got a long day ahead today. I'm a little off center. Long day ahead. I'm taping the Pink Shade podcast. If you guys are familiar with Mary Payne, I'm going to be on her podcast this week, so be sure to tune in. I'm also going to be appearing on the OKOP podcast. We taped that already, so that'll be coming out soon. But I do have the guys of OKOP. If you haven't checked out that podcast, they are going to be coming on my show. We're taping it today at Spotify HQ because that's where my new studio's at, Spotify headquarters. Woo woo, because a bitch a badass now. We official, baby. We official. So many fun, exciting announcements that are coming, but I'm excited to officially be taping No Filter in my new Spotify studio. I am still building my home studio here. But stay tuned for that. You can follow me on Instagram for all the behind the scenes tea. At Just Plain Zack is my personal handle. Or if you want all the podcast tea, you can always follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack. But they are two separate accounts. One is podcast stuff and one is me stuff. So definitely go check that out. I also put a call out for really bad disaster dating stories. It doesn't have to be dating stories. It can also be like really bad sex stories. So if you have a really good, juicy story that you want to share, that you have like, you're like, oh my God, this happened to me in Boom Boom in the bedroom, or this happened to me when I was out with this cuckoo crazy guy, or this, crazy girl. Definitely share your stories with me. You can share them anonymously, but please disclose that you are sharing them anonymously. You can leave a voicemail if you'd prefer to leave a voicemail. You can send it to the hotline. But just, looking for, I'll tell you why later, but I'm looking for disaster date stories. If you have any, definitely be sure to check them out. And check out the Pink Shade podcast, Mary Payne. I'm going to be on the show this week, so go check out Pink Shade with Mary Payne. We're going to be talking all about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. I did a recap on the Ringer Reality TV podcast on Tuesday with my girl Chelsea Stark-Jones. We talked about the Southern Charm reunion, and we talked about this most recent episode of Real Housewives of Miami. So those are all the promos. Those are all the things. Get ready for it. It's going to be fun. Got some fun guests lined up on my podcast. Lots of fun things in the works and plans. So stay tuned. Get ready. It's going to be an exciting couple of months. All right, let's dive into Salt Lake City. Monica Garcia. My goodness. Monica Garcia, Monica Fowler, Monica Dumal. What was her other name? I don't remember. She's had so many names at this point. But okay. Monica's ex-husband. So the U.S. Sun, but here in the States, has obtained a police report from the night that Monica's ex, Mike Fowler, was arrested for slapping her across the face. So she's Monica Garcia now, which is her family name, because her mother, God, does anybody remember what her mother's maiden name is? Darnell. There you go. That's what it was. So Monica Darnell is the name that she was born with. We learned this at the Salt Lake City reunion this week. She was born Monica Darnell. Then she got married and she became Monica Fowler. And then when she left her ex, she wanted to go back. She didn't want to become Darnell anymore. She was over Darnell because I guess Darnell was related to her mom and she wanted nothing to do with Darnell. So she became Monica Garcia, which is her mother's actual last name. Her mom had 8 last names, which I'm like, okay, first of all, your parents got greedy giving you 8 names, number one. And number two, she had 2 last names in there, and it wasn't even like a married hyphenate. She had Darnell, and then she also had Garcia. So Monica decided to change her last name to her mother's other last name. I mean, she had 5 names to choose from, but she decided to change it to the other last name, which is Garcia. And that's why we now know her as Monica Garcia, formerly Monica Fowler, born Monica Darnell. Got it? Keep up. These are all the 6 people that were running Reality Von Teese. So apparently they got into an argument one night. This happened in front of their children. Her ex, Mike, was arrested for domestic violence assault, domestic violence in the presence of a child, and interruption of a communication device back in March 2021. After he slapped Monica, it looks like she ran into a room, and then she called the police from her Apple Watch, and it was just it seems like a really unfortunate night. But police came, he was arrested. Apparently they were fighting over people that she had been associating with, which is interesting. I'm curious to see what she was associating with. Jen Shah, was it Reality Von Teese, Tanisha? Who were the people that she was associating with that he was upset about that would warrant this argument to, ensue the way that it did? But anyway, Mike Fowler was arrested. He spent a few days in jail. He was sentenced to 12 months probation, and he ended up having to pay a little over $1,000 in fines. Trish says Hispanic people have multiple last names indicating the mother and the father. Thank you, Trish, for educating me on that. I happen to be Hispanic myself, and I only have one last name. Well, not really. I mean, I have my birth last name, and then I have like my stage last name. But I don't know. My last name is actually Gonzalez, Gonzalez. But I go by. It's a long story. I'm like Monica Garcia. I have. Well, I really only have 2 last names. In Latin culture, we're given 2 last names. Yes, I know that, guys. But like Monica's mom had like 8 names. Yes, I do know that it's common to have 2 last names in the Hispanic culture. I did grow up Hispanic. I do have Hispanic blood inside of me. I do understand that. Thank you for the clarification. But my point was Monica's mom had like 8 names, and that's not common for anybody other than someone selling like drugs or something, But no, I don't have. My legal name is Peter Zachary Gonzalez. Peter is my father and my grandfather's name, so I was technically the third. I was never called Peter. I've never gone by Peter. Nobody's ever called me that. Even when my mother would register me in school as a kid, she always registered me as Zachary Peter Gonzalez. So Peter was always my name has always been Zachary or Zach. In school, they always called me Zachary. Till eventually I just, go by Zach. And I kept I kept the name Peter in honor of my grandfather, because it was very important to him that as his first grandchild and as his first grandson, I was named after him. So in honor of my grandfather, I kept Peter as my last name, but I never really identified with it because I always felt like my father's Peter. I'm not Peter. So yeah, it was a whole thing, especially in high school. It was like a whole thing. There was like another Zach in high school, and he was like, "Why are you trying to steal my name?" And I'm like, bitch, I'm the more important Zach. I'm the more relevant Zach. Like, nobody cares about you. Okay. So yeah, that's my Monica Garcia story and my multiple names. But no, I never liked being called Peter, just because, again, nobody had ever called me that, and I always felt like that was my dad's last name. So, or sorry, that was my dad's name. So it was like, oh, I never really identified with it. But yeah, so this is assuming a big part of the reason Monica left her ex-husband. She said that it was due to domestic violence when she opened up about it last week after part 1 of the reunion. So it doesn't have anything to do with the brother-in-law that she banged, right? It was her brother. Yeah. The brother-in-law that she banged, she said it was back when she was like 20 years old, so many, many years ago. We've since moved on. Yeah. Guys, I'm like Raquel. I changed my name from Rachel, or like Lala. Everyone's like Lauren. That's the weird thing too, is like so many people like try to that's one thing that I related to Lala about, is how people try to weaponize the name. I guess people did that with Raquel and Rachel. Like they tried to weaponize the name Rachel against Raquel. Like, you're not really Raquel, you're Rachel. Same thing with Lala. You're not Lala, you're Lauren from Utah. I don't understand why people feel the necessity to weaponize that. I I experienced it, like, especially in high school, where people would try to call me Peter as kind of like a dig, and it would upset me in high school because I was like, "That's not my name," and it just feels really weird because I have a really complicated relationship with my father. So it was very uncomfortable when people would call me Peter because I'm like, that's a name that's associated as a first name, right? As a last name, you kind of like see it as a surname, as a family name. So as a last name, I felt it was more of like in honor of my grandfather because he wanted me to be named after him. But when it comes to like people referring to me as that, it really did bother me because I was like, it associates me with somebody that I have such a complicated relationship with, that I wish I had a better relationship with. But, it just is what it is. And now it's even more complicated because, as I've shared with you guys, my dad now has cancer, and like I've tried to work on that relationship, and he just doesn't really seem to be as receptive to building a relationship. So it's complicated. Life is complicated. Oh yeah, Jax Taylor's real name is Jason. Yeah, see, it's a thing. I hope y'all work it out, Peter. See, I don't understand why that's necessary though. I literally just shared how that name is just not, you know, I don't associate with that name, and it comes from a very complicated relationship with my father. So people calling me Peter in the live chat, I just think is inappropriate. Again, it doesn't affect me the way that it used to, but I think anybody weaponizing that, you're doing it with the intention of stirring something up, and I just think that that's disrespectful. But okay, let's move on to some Winter House news. Is anybody watching Winter House? People have been telling me Winter House is really good. We have Summer House that's returning in February, which it usually always comes back in about February. I feel like it's taken a little long. I kind of wish they would have gotten this out sooner, but I guess we're still interested in it, right? It's coming up. We're seeing the trailer opened up with like Lindsay and Carl, and we see that their their breakup, the day that they broke up, and we see Lindsay and Carl's like, I'm gonna be the bad guy, and Carl's like, she's gonna say that she was blindsided, and then we see Lindsay and she's talking to her dad, and she's like, I feel blindsided. I feel, whatever. And he's like, I'm going to be the bad guy, and she's going to throw this all on me. And now we're seeing this all kind of play out. So I'm wondering if people are going to change their tone towards Carl once we actually see this all play out on the show. But Summer House returns in February. We're not going to see any of the Lindsay and Carl stuff until at least April, possibly even May, when we get the finale, because it's going to be a minute. But in related to Summer House, we now have Winter House, which has since ended. But Corey Kiefer, he's a hunk of burning love. He's a cutie patootie. He's now speaking out because Sam Fair, is that how you say her last name? Sam Fair. She was recently on the 99 podcast with the Amanda, been on the podcast before. But so Amanda Hirsch interviewed her, and she opened up about her breakup from Corey. And so people have been talking about that lately. And now Corey is speaking out, and he gave a statement to Page Six. And he's basically saying, oh, we weren't compatible. It was a conscious uncoupling. But if you're watching Winter House, Sam and Corey were like one of the core couples in the Winter House. Some people said that it was really good. I, again, personally don't really care. I didn't watch Summer House. I kind of caught clips of it here and there, or I'd kind of put it on in the background, but it wasn't something that I was actively like invested in. But Sam was clearly, from what you would see on the show, clearly way more into Corey than Corey was into her. Corey was a bit of a douchebag. He did seem to like really be, hot and cold with her, but he would have moments where he'd be like super affectionate with her. And she was just like, yeah, that's so, ooh, yeah. She was like all into him. Anyway, he's a player. He likes to keep his options open. Sam was kind of a good girl that I think he just wasn't interested in. He likes to chase. And I think Sam was too emotionally available for him. But she's now revealing that they've broken up. Corey, in his statement, had really nice things to say about her. He's like, oh, she's special, and she's beautiful, and she's loving. You is kind, you is smart, you is brave. And he admits to Page Six that he's like, but I take full accountability for how I acted on Winter House, and I regret hurting her. Bullshit. Alexa, play Heard It All again. Heard it all before. Come on, Tristan Thompson. We're not doing this. We see you for who you are, Corey. You're a fuckboy. We need to get JT in here to give you a fuckboy exorcism. But Sam, when she was on Amanda's podcast, she admits that he's the one that broke up with her. She also reveals that he didn't get her a Christmas gift after 4 months of talking. She said that she got him a Christmas gift, but he didn't get her a Christmas gift. And then furthermore, he didn't even acknowledge Valentine's Day after after they were together for 6 months, which then begs the question, how soon is it too soon to get somebody a Valentine's Day gift? And how soon is it too soon to get somebody a Christmas gift? What would you guys say is the appropriate? Okay, so if you start talking and it's been 4 months, is that an appropriate time to get somebody a Christmas gift? I say no. If you're like in a relationship for 4 months, sure. Like you're exclusive, you're official, you're like in it together, you're actively dating and exclusive for 4 months. Yes, I would say then it would be appropriate to get a Christmas gift. But if you've just been casually seeing each other or casually talking, no, I'm not getting you a fucking Christmas gift after 4 months. You know how many people I already have on my list? No, thank you. If it's casual and it's not serious and it's not exclusive, 4 months is way too short for a Christmas gift. Now, Valentine's Day, after 6 months, I guess that really depends on whether or not you guys take Valentine's Day seriously. I personally think you guys should take Valentine's Day seriously because I'm going to be doing a Valentine's Day show at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood on Valentine's Day on February 14th. It's going to be a good one. Tickets are going on sale this week. Zack Pack members get first dibs. We will be live streaming it, but I suggest you come in person because it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some very special guests. We're going to talk about all sex, love, and dating. Going to get a little naughty. Going to bring favorites back on stage for a night of love. It's a no filter night of love, February 14th at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood. So mark your calendars now. But yeah, I think that Sam's expectations are maybe a little high. The Valentine's Day thing, I get not everybody cares about Valentine's. Valentine's Day isn't a priority for everyone. A lot of people don't celebrate because they think it's dumb and it's cheesy, which is fine. That's your prerogative. You can still have fun with it. Or maybe at least, buy someone a rose, buy something little. Maybe it doesn't have to be super significant, but I think a cute little thing, right? Especially if you're in the first year of dating, that's, the Bourbon Room, my favorite drama-free zone. Oh, right, Norma? The Bourbon Room is where it goes down. I'm returning to the scene of the crime. The Bourbon Room is where it goes down. Let's get it. Dr. Debo Cherry, thank you for the super sticker, my love. My goodness, a $20 super sticker. Get it, get it, get it. Pamela says, you look so handsome with your dark hair, Zach. Congratulations on the new studio. You deserve all the perks from all your hard work. Happy for you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pamela. Yeah. Oof. Brittany says, my man proposed to me 2 weeks after we started dating. We've been together for 6 years. We have 2 kids and a home now. So I'm a true believer of when you know, you know. What? He proposed to you after 2 weeks of date? Like you met and 2 weeks later, he's like, I want to marry you. Were you guys banging in those 2 weeks? How often did you see each other in those 2 weeks? I have questions. I have so many questions. Maybe we'll do a special, like a Valentine's Day live stream where we just dive into everybody's, craziest love stories. Which, by the way, guys, if you do have a wild dating or sex story, be sure to DM me because I would love to discuss it with you. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I just got some tea. Not about this, about my friend group. Okay. Norma says, I married after 4 months and have been married for 30 years. Wow. When did you know? Like, here's a good thing is we're approaching Valentine's Day. When did you guys know that this was the one? And how did you guys know? Like, I've always just been so fascinated about this. Like, I even wanted to talk to like my grandfather who was married, before my grandmother passed away back in 2021. like talk to him about it and be like, when did you guys know? How did you know? How did you know you didn't want to not end up together? Like, how did you know you wanted to stay committed to your relationship? Like, I just have so many questions about all of this. My husband told me he wanted to marry me on our first date 23 years later and happy as could be. Oh my gosh, you guys, love is real. Here I was like not believing in love anymore. So when you know, but how do you know? Like, how do you know, like, this is somebody I want to marry? Like, is it a gut feeling? Is it like, how do you know it's not like an infatuation? Because, like, after 2 weeks or after 4 months, like, that very likely could be an infatuation. I guess you know, right? Like, you just know in your gut, like, this is my person. And this is the person that I can see myself with. I knew in like a week the how and why. I have no idea. That's so wild to me. Okay. Moving on from love. Sorry, I'm just talking this all out in my brain. Here's a little bit of some interesting good news, I guess, from Real Housewives Ultimate Girlship. With by the way, this Saturday, Kristen Takeman is going to be doing a live Q&A with Sarah from the Jeff Lewis Obsessed Instagram account. I'm going to be there to support her. I don't think I'm in the show, but I'm like there going to support her. But anyway, Kelly and Luann have finally gone to a Rangers game together. Congrats to them. Countess Luann posted on Instagram that they went to a Rangers game, which I'm glad. You know, I'm glad. Good for them. True love. When you can't be happy if your partner isn't okay. That's a good point. That's a good point. Someone you can be completely yourself with, and I swear it really is just a feeling. Mary says, I too much true crime I would run if a guy does 3 weeks or first date. Mary, you don't believe in love. That's why you're single. JK. My question is, how do you find them? I keep finding the bad ones. I guess they're the ones that stay, right? Despite everything, they stay. And if they don't stay, then you know that's not the one. Riley says, I met my husband on eHarmony and have been together for 14 years. eHarmony. Oh my God, that is a throwback. That is a 14-year throwback. Is eHarmony still like, do people still do eHarmony? Interesting. Remember when they used to have those like Match.com and eHarmony commercials? I don't really watch TV commercials anymore because now everything's like on demand or streaming that like, but I remember when those commercials happened. I just turned 68 yesterday. I've never been married. I love my freedom too much to put up with someone else's underwear. Love Grandma Debbie. You know what, Grandma Debbie? You do you. How are you, Grandma Debbie? Do you have kids? Did you have a baby out of wedlock? And then grandkids from that? Grandma Debbie, I have follow-up questions. With every pic, Luann gets more and more gorgeous. Well, filters help with that too, you guys. Cindy says, I'm married after 5 months of knowing him. Wait, you married him after 5 months of knowing him? That's crazy. Married for 17 and a half years before he died of cancer. Okay, that is not the plot twist I was expecting that to go in, Cindy. I'm so sorry, my love. My heart breaks for you. I knew my Gemini husband was the one. He was so easy to be with. No head games. I feel very comfortable with him. Interesting. My mom and dad met over the phone in World War II. How did they meet over the phone? Talked for 3 weeks, got married the next weekend, and were married for 48 years? Holy shit, J-Ro. How did they meet on the phone, though? Was it like one of those hotlines where you call and you're like, when it's the sex hotlines? Was that how they met? Because he was, in a war and horny? Sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Ooh, I talked for 3 weeks and got married the night. See, I just think our culture now has made divorce such an easy option. I'm unhappy right now, therefore I'm not willing to put in the uncomfortable, the uncomfortable work to move through the discomfort to stay committed to each other. You know, when things get hard, whether you've had a hard year or a hard couple of years, that's usually like, I'm not happy, I'm leaving you. And I think it's just this mindset of like, we have endless options, we have other options. We can meet somebody, you know, anywhere we go. We have dating apps where we can connect with people. So that's, I think, because we have this mindset of there are plenty of fish in the sea, I have endless options, and divorce is an easy option and it's become so normalized, people don't choose to stay committed. And I also think people see marriage now as like, this is my commitment to another person, but it's not like we're becoming a family, you know? Or at least that's kind of how I objectively am looking at it, is like people, like when I think of like, if you're going to marry somebody and you're going to commit to somebody, you are becoming a family unit with that person. And to me, family, like Lilo and Stitch, mahalo, family, mahalo means family, and family means nobody gets left behind. You stick together. Once you become family, you're bonded forever. But people just don't think of it that way anymore. It's not necessarily about like building a connection or a family together. It's more about like my happiness, and my happiness is the biggest priority. But I mean, if people are able to make it work and are still happy after 37 years, 48 years together, my goodness. I married my husband after 6 months of knowing him, and we're celebrating 16 years on the first. And I'm assuming you guys are still happy, right? Like, we're not in like an unhappy marriage. I'm now picturing Norma in Practical Magic. Yep, Norma is very Practical Magic. Preach. It's fucking hard work. It is fucking hard work, and it's not supposed to be easy. Marriage is not giving up and evolving together unless abuse is involved. Yeah, that's. But then again, I feel like we've also like redefined what abuse even means. Whereas abuse used to be like toxicity and violence, and now abuse is like, oh, I'm not happy and you're neglecting my needs, so you're emotionally abusing me by neglecting my needs. Again, is it Ohana or something? Isn't it Ohana? Oh, Ohana. What did I say? Mahalo? Yeah, I think it's Ohana, not Mahalo. Ohana. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind. I married my husband in 3 months of meeting him, and we've been married for 43 years, 2 daughters, and 3 grandkids. Wow, 63, never married, have lived plenty. Marriage isn't required. Yeah, that's another good point. You don't have to get married. I didn't think I ever wanted to get married. Like, that just wasn't a priority for me. Recently, I've thought about that, and I think I've reconsidered that, and I've actually been like, I think I actually can see myself getting married. I actually think I am open to, I mean, if your partner wants that, I would be totally fine never getting married. It's weird. I even look at like my relationships. I look at like my father and his marriage, and that to me just does not look like a happy marriage. And then I look at my mother, and she has been married and, you know, is now in a new committed relationship where she doesn't want to get married, but they're definitely committed. But like, I recently have changed my viewpoint on that, and I'm open to marriage now, which is weird because that's like such a difference in me. But I mean, it also goes to show like the inner self work that I've done. If marriage is a priority for somebody else, then I would absolutely be comfortable committing to that. I've been with my husband, but you don't have to get married to be happy. I've been with my husband 16 years. I'm 54 now, married 30 years. Oh, wait, what? That math doesn't add up. I've been with my husband, oh, since I was 16 years old. I'm 54 now. We've been married for Jesus Christ, 16 to 54. That's a really long time. And you still love him. Like, that's the other biggest questions. And you guys are still in love, and you still love him. That's really, you know. I also had cancer instead of kids. Well, that's one way to lighten up the mood. Got engaged after 5 months on a Skype call from Afghanistan. Married 13 years as of the 10th this month. Wow. I knew my husband 6 months before marrying him. 7 years. Why are people getting married in like 4 to 6 months? Like, is that the standard? Is that what we're doing here? Jeez, you guys. Ooh. Yay, Logan is now a member. Logan L. Anderson, now a member of the Zack Pack. I love it. If you marry, I wish you nothing but happiness. Well, I would wish me nothing but happiness too, Michelle. Okay, let's move on because we've talked enough about love. Love, love, love. Let's talk about Jen Shah and Heather Gay. So I'm loving all of these quick proposals and marriages because mine was quick and I'm only 28. We're at 6 years and 2 kids. I'm so happy for the future. He is 10 years older. Wow. I mean, I guess it is possible, right? I do have my friend. Oh, I don't know. She better be listening to this. Stephanie, my friend Stephanie, she fell in love with one of our other classmates, Jesse. So it's Stephanie and Jesse. Shout out to Stephanie and Jesse. They started dating in middle school, and then she got knocked up in high school, had a baby, and we were all like, "Oh, girl, this ain't gonna work out. He's gonna leave you." And they're married and they have 3 kids together, and it's crazy to be like, "Shit, you're my age and you got 3 kids and one's like grown because you had him back in high school." So it's been a minute. I'm trying to think, when did she Wow, he has to be like 15 now. 14, 15. Yeah, damn. See, but they're still together. They had a baby 15 years ago, and they've been together for, I mean, over 15 years, right? Jesus. So it's possible even for people my age. I'm 30. Your hair looks great. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Boo. Okay, the Bravo Docket is exclusively talking to Us Weekly, and they're getting into why Heather Gay may have lied about the black eye to protect Jen Shah. So it was finally revealed in this season's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City finale that Jen Shah is the one that gave Heather Gay the black eye, according to Heather Gay. Now, I remember at the time last season, season 3, when the black eye storyline came up, and everybody was speculating that Jen gave Heather the black eye. I remember at the time thinking that if, she was covering up for Jen and saying that she didn't remember, it was mainly because she was trying to protect Jen, who at the time was awaiting trial, right? Because since she was technically, what was it, like probation, or she was out on bond. And so the Bravo Dockets, Angela and Gotti, who I got to meet in Vegas the weekend of BravoCon, lovely woman. So she is now confirming that that is in fact correct, or not that that's what really happened, but that would likely be a possibility as to why Heather may have protected Jen. And it was because since Jen was out on bond, Heather could have been protecting her because this could have gotten her bond revoked. It could have affected her upcoming court case because she had to exhibit good behavior. And even afterwards, after she pled guilty, Heather still had an incentive to protect her, because had she revealed that Jen had been physically violent, you know, going into awaiting, her prison sentencing, that could have also affected how much time she got. So it would make sense if Heather, with the blind loyalty that she had to Jen, was really trying to protect Jen, or that Jen had something on Heather. That was another theory, is that that's why Meredith and Heather Gay were so protective of Jen and trying to make sure that they um, had her back and were supporting her, because blackmail. Which they thought they thought that Jen must have had something on the two of them. But I also just think, like, they were trying to be good friends to Jen. They wanted to believe in Jen. They wanted to believe that Jen's the one that was actually innocent. Jen was very hardcore claiming her innocence. And think about it, if that's your friend and your friend is saying, "I'm innocent, I need you to believe me, I need you to have my back," think of your good friends. Wouldn't you believe them? Like, listen, for me, there was a I guess it's like scandal that's going on like Reddit, right? With another creator that, don't need to get into it, but like there were people that were DMing me and they're like, "Oh my God, have you seen this about so and so on Reddit?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen that, but I also am not the type to go and read Reddit threads about my friends." But, they came to me and they're like, "Well, did you hear this? And this is the accusation, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Listen, I'm going to take all of that with a grain of salt. I haven't read it. I'm not going to read it, because all I'm going to do is know that this person is my friend, and I'm judging this person based off of who I know this person to be. And I've known this person for years. And so I'm going to judge this person based off of my experience with this person, not necessarily for the things that are being spread, especially on Reddit." I feel like Reddit is so sensationalized and everybody wants to jump in and everybody has a story. Again, I don't know the deep details of what people are claiming on Reddit. I've just had a couple of people that have brought it to me. And listen, and I reached out to this friend and I'm like, "Listen, I don't know what the details are. I've heard that there's some rumblings. uh, Hang in there. I know you for who you are based off of the friend that you've been to me. There you go. And so, but like, and that's the thing. You believe your friends and you trust that their character and who they are. I mean, Jen Shah doesn't have a great character and she was a terrible human being just in general. So that's a little different. But, or even, okay, another creator came to me the other day and we were chatting and we were talking, just like catching up. And we were talking about the Reddit threads. And she was just like, yeah, somebody like screenshotted one of your tweets about Garcelle and sent it to me. And, and this person's just like, but I didn't like, get into it or address it. They're like, I know you and I know who you are as a person that like, and again, sometimes I think a lot of people want to sensationalize things or cause issues amongst us creators sometimes, or so they'll take things out of context, they'll screenshot things and not give the full context or details. And listen, I'll be honest, what I said about Garcelle, I said on Twitter, I think that Garcelle um was being a Karen with Dorit. And I've talked about my thoughts on the Garcelle and Dorit stuff and, where I stand on a lot of that. But I was like, listen, I feel like Garcelle's been the biggest Karen in all of this with, how she's addressing some of these things. And again, I've gone deep into that in my thoughts about it on the podcast prior. But I was appreciative that this content creator said, like, listen, somebody screenshotted one of your tweets and sent it to me and tried to make it bigger than it needed to be or bigger than it was, whatever. But, I appreciated that. And like, listen, we love the drama. Yes, Dawn, we all love the drama, but sometimes it's good to have a friend's back. But when it's a Jen Shah situation, like how far do you go to protect your friend? Jen Shah went to prison. She lied. She pled guilty. Like circumstances changed in that. But I understand people's commitment to want to support their friends and judge their friends based off of, their word. It's different once you find out that your friends have been lying to you. That changes the game. Zack is so passive aggressive towards women of color. Am I? I don't mean to be. I don't think I'm passive. I was literally defending Anne Marie on the podcast the other day. Like, come on, get out of here with that bullshit. I was defending Anne Marie, who everybody hates. Or not defending her, but I was like, listen, guys, before we determine if we like Anne Marie or not, we should like get to know her a little better. I feel like everybody's hating on her probably just because she's coming after Sutton and Sutton happens to be a fan favorite, but we haven't really seen enough of Anne Marie in order to, really get to know her, formulate a good judgment of her. You always give these white women a pass. Really? Because I've gone hard on Bethany. I've gone hard on Raquel. I've gone hard on Leah McSweeney. So I've gone hard on white women all the time. But if that's the narrative you want to run with, then you do you, boo. It's just so funny how people like to pick and choose. I can defend Anne Marie, but the second I say something critical about Garcelle, I'm against women of color. I can, tear up Leah McSweeney and Bethany Frankel and Raquel Leviss and all these other housewives and even Sutton Strack at time. I've called out Sutton Strack. And, all of the sudden, I give white women more of a pass than I give women of color. You guys realize I am Hispanic. I am technically a person of color. I'm a Hispanic and I'm a gay man. So yeah, I happen to be a double minority, so I do have empathy and I have experienced the world as a minority. I don't wear that as, my only identity. Y'all are tripping. Oh, what happened? Romy went out. You are. Yes, he is. Okay, but you didn't respond to anything else I said. But thank you for the engagement. Please keep commenting. All the engagement does help. Be sure to like the video on your way out. How long is Jen Shah sentenced to? I believe it was 6 years. And then she got 1 year shaved off for like good behavior. Remember, because she was teaching all the women how to read and write in prison. Zack is fair but opinion. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate that. Make sure to like this video. I know that's right. Make sure to like this video. Hey. Wait, you're gay? I am, Norma. I am. I've sucked a few dicks in my life. Romy is fighting with themselves. Romy is fighting with herself. Oh my God, how laughable is this? Romy just said, after all that bullshit, don't be sensitive. Bitch, you're the one that was coming in here throwing around terms like, racist. My God. And then they're like, don't be so sensitive as you hide behind your nameless, faceless profile. Sucked dicks, me too. I mean, listen, I think most people in this live chat or that listen to this podcast have sucked a few dicks in their life. Do you think Monica should come back? Ooh, good question, boozy bitch. Do I think Monica should come back? I think if there's a way for Monica to come back, sure, that would be great. I wouldn't mind seeing Monica return. I think she's brought a lot of interesting dynamics to the show. I would love to see Mary come back since Mary wants to be an ally of Monica's. So I think, why not? I am done sucking D. Yeah, Trish, I feel you. It's not my favorite. I'm not like, yeah, I want to suck all the D. I have to like really be, I have to be really into it. I gave an opinion. You are passive aggressive towards people of color. Well, thank you, Romy. I gave you several examples of how I'm passive aggressive, or not even passively. I've been very aggressive towards Rachel, who's whiter than they come. So yeah, you gave an opinion, and I said your opinion was stupid. So and inaccurate because I'm passive aggressive towards everybody. I'm an equal playing field. Passive aggressive towards everyone. Anyone identified, do not save anybody from criticism. I don't know what that means, but thank you. This is my first time. You are fabulous. Thank you, J. Rowe. Monica is the ultimate villain. The show needs it. I mean, listen, she's definitely what I like is that Monica leans into the role of being a villain. She doesn't take any shit from anybody. She owns it. She leans into it. And she's like, listen, I was part of Reality Vonties, but let's get into it. So that's one thing that I respect is when a villain is willing to be a villain and own it and lean into it. I'm here for it. Okay. On that note, shall we wrap? Anything else anybody wants to add? Any other accusations anybody wants to throw out? Do I need to pop off on a bitch today? Okay. Isn't it funny that like somebody can come in the live chat and be like, I have an opinion. But if I go on my podcast and share any of my opinions, then suddenly I'm labeled one thing or another. The other day I was sexist. Today I'm racist. So, it is what it is. If anything, I'm the most sexist towards men. Men are the worst. All right. Well, on that note, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have. Oh, Rachel's podcast. Yeah, she did release another podcast and she was like outing Schwartz about something. About like Schwartz knew about the affair, which she kind of sort of knew. Or like he kind of sort of admitted. I don't know. I hit a nerve, LOL. Congratulations, Romy. You hit a nerve. Congrats. If that's the highlight of your day, your life must be really fucking boring. So I'm glad that you were able to hit a nerve and you feel good about that. And that I'm glad you were able to make your day by criticizing somebody else. If that's what brings you joy in life, then you know what? Good for you. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow me at Just Plain Zack or follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack. All on Instagram, where you can follow me at Just Plain Zack all over the internet. I have a very busy day. So if you, Abuelita Amanda is praying for Romy. Let's all pray for Romy. Because if her highlight is criticizing people and that makes her feel validated, then God, her life must be sad. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow on Thursday. And we'll have our members only on Thursday. And we'll enjoy the rest of the weekend. So, all right. Enjoy. Like I said, if you have a really bad dating or sex story, then definitely go and DM it to me. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Sending you so much love, especially you, Romy. It sounds like you need to get laid, and I hope you do this weekend. All right, guys. Ciao for now. Check me out on Mary Payne's podcast. I'm going over to that right now. So go check me out. Love you. Mean it. Bye.